Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Nay. I am a Cameroonian content creator, and if this is your first time to see this beautiful face, please make sure you hit on that subscription button, hit on that like button, so whenever I upload a video, you'll be the first to know. Guys, I will be telling you all about the first thing to do once you move into the States, because I know so many people move to the United States for several reasons. Some come for education, some come to meet their spouses, some come for business, like for various reasons. And I'm going to tell you guys something. Once you've moved to the States, you have to take time, you sit down, you think on if actually being here or staying in the United States of America, is it going to be a permanent decision? Do you intend to work and go back, make the money, go back and then settle in back home? Do you intend to stay here, continue your life, have a family, and like, do you intend to make this your home? You have to think about all this, you have to factor in everything before you settle in here, because the decision you make now is the decision that's going to affect your life in the long run. So you have to think about you have to think on if this is going to be like if this is going to be like a long-term plan, or it's just temporal. Anyways, with that being said, guys, the first thing you do once you move into the United States of America is learning their housing system. Guys, the housing system here in America is different from the way it is back home. In Cameroon, like, it's different. In Cameroon, you pay sometimes, most of the times, like, do have seen the way seeing how they do it now. They pay like 6 months in. You pay like you pay 6 months in advance. You pay your house rent for 6 months in advance, or you pay a year. But here is monthly, and this is how they do like the housing system. This is how it works. So you don't necessarily need to go from apartment to apartment looking for a house to rent, or looking for an apartment to lease like it's done back home. No, here everything is online. You have various websites that can help you to look for your dream apartment, your dream house, and you just need to go on there. If there is an application, on that application you are supposed to give in your name. You give your name, you give your like where you live, like where you work. You fill in all those things, and most of the times they always ask for your social security number to check your credit score, to do like a background search and all that. And that is why I was saying that having a good credit score is very, very important. So yes, once you've filled out the application, they ask you about pets, and most of the times they'll always ask you to give like an application fee. Sometimes it's $15, sometimes it's 24 $25, depending on the apartment and how they do their things there. So that is most of the times, like, that is how like their application forms are. And after a while, they'll take time like to do like a background search on you. That's why they got your social security number, to do a background search on you, to check if, oh, okay, are you a good citizen, are you upright, did you default rent in another apartment, like, do you have a clean slate, do you have a good record? Those are the kind of things they check. And finally, once they are done checking all that, guys, if you meet their criteria, like as a tenant or so, they are going to call you, they tell you you have been approved, or they send you an email to letting you know that, okay, fine, you have been approved for this apartment, so you can come now and get the keys. But before doing all that, most of the times they'll ask you to give like a security deposit, and most of the times your security deposit is going to be based on your credit score. Like, they have to see like your credit score. They check your credit score. If you have good credit, okay, fine, you most likely will get a lesser down payment, or a lesser security deposit. And just to let this out here, most of the times, guys, like, if you don't have like a social security, you will not a social security number, you most likely not be given an apartment. Like, it's going to be difficult for you to rent. Another thing also is, if you don't have like proof of occupation, if you cannot show them that, okay, fine, this is what I do to earn a living, you most likely not get the apartment. Because, okay, so once you come in, like, in the application process and in, yeah, the process and everything, they'll ask you to go back, like, you have to date back, like, three you have to give them 3 months of your pay stubs, like, of your pay stubs. Like, you have to print out your pay stubs like 3 months back, and then you give it to them. Like, okay, let's just say I'm going to rent today, like, my application process started today, and when I'm moving to the office, they're going to say, okay, like, can I give them my pay stubs dating from is it November, December, January? Yes, from November to January, this they are going to ask for them. So if you intend to rent an apartment, most of the times you have to make sure that you have worked for that. If you just moved into the States, make sure you work for about a period of 3 months or so before you can be able to actually rent an apartment. But sometimes it also depends on the apartments and their policies. And some apartments might ask you for 2 months, but most of the apartments I've been asking around, because when I wanted to rent, I was asking around, and most of the times I always ask like for 3 months. So it's going to depend on the apartment and their policy. Another thing I'm going to mention is the fact that, guys, please, English is very important. Once you move to the States, there are community colleges that offer free English classes. Please learn the English language, because if you don't learn the English language, it will be so difficult for you to communicate. And as I said on my other video, it is so frustrating that when you want to communicate and you're communicating and they don't get what you're saying, it is so sad because you feel frustrated. So it is very imperative that you learn English language. I know not all of us come from countries that speak English. Not all of us come from countries that speak English, or countries that English is even their first language. So please, once you move to the States, there are community colleges that do offer English classes. Please rush there, and it might take you, I think, a period of 3 months or a month to learn the English language, but it is important that you do learn the English language. Another thing to do once you move to the state is, guys, please and please apply for jobs. Don't sit and wait that your host will apply for jobs for you, because if you do that, you're going to get a shock of your life. Some hosts might be good and they will help you apply for them, because they also want you to get on your feet and get out of their place. Most hosts will do, and others are just going to let you be. They'll let you to your own devices. If you like, you apply for a job, it's up to you. If you like, you don't, it's still up to you. So what you have to do is apply for a job. And to apply for a job, you're going to need a resume. This is like this is resume can also be known as CV, because back home in Cameroon we call it CV. So it is basically just their work experience, your educational background, your educational background, companies or places you have worked in. That is what is going to compromise on. So you can also put in your work ethics, you can put in like special skills that you have, other things that you have. And most of the times people always ask the question like, what if I'm coming from Cameroon? I keep using my country, Cameroon, because that's where I come from. What if I come from Cameroon and that I've not worked here I've never worked here in the States? What kind of experience am I going to put on my resume? Okay, guys, for most jobs, like once you're coming here for entry-level jobs, they really don't bother about like if you have had experience in that field, or if you have had experience. They don't bother if they really, for entry-level jobs, they really don't bother if you've had experience in that field. Most of the times, like for me, what I did. Okay, so with my resume, I stated that because living Cameroon, I worked at City FM. I was a journalist, so I worked at City FM for a period of about 3 months. I included that on my resume. I added the fact that I worked for CRU TV. I added that, like, I just added like the places I worked in Cameroon, and then I also added the fact that because since I did a course on medtech, like of becoming a medtech, I added the fact that I had gained, like, this is what I had gained, like a certificate in medication, in passing medications. I included all of that in, and yeah, that was it. Like, I did not really, there was no other thing there was no other thing I'd learned prior to coming to the States. So those are the things I put in, like my work experience back home, my educational background, and then I also put in like the certificate at just recently gotten. So that was what I put. And with that, yes, I got the call because these are entry-level positions. Because most of the times when you move to the States, what you are going to do are entry-level jobs. So once you start getting those jobs, like if I finally got the call, right? So I went for that interview. After getting the interview, once I got the job, that is another job that's another work experience that has subsequently added, has gotten on my resume. Because now if I want to go and apply for a job somewhere else, I'm not only going to say that I recently got my medtech license. I'm going to say now I currently work at this place, or I used to work at this place. So as you keep on going, as you get into the system, and as you keep on going, that is how like your experiences are going to be adding on your CV. So do not bother, do not fret. If you are just new to the country, you can still get like the job, just entry-level positions. Most of the times, in most entry-level jobs, they really don't bother about like, oh, you have an experience in that field. No, so don't fret. Guys, please, as we are proceeding, I'm slowly getting to the end of this video. Please make sure you hit the like button, please comment, and please remember to share. And thank you all. So the next point I'm going to be mentioning is the fact that you guys, credit score is very, very important. I don't know how to overemphasize on this, but your credit score is very, very important. If you want to buy a house, if you want to buy a car, especially for those who want to get brand new cars, if you want to get a brand new car and all this, and yeah, a brand new car, guys, your credit score is going to play a great role. Most of the times we don't, like I especially, I don't really see the need for a credit card. I don't see the need why we should bother about a credit score, but here in America it is a priority. I do not have a credit card. I wasn't even interested about credit till I was explained on why it is important to have a credit score. And I'm guessing this is only in America, because I'm guessing in other parts of the world, like in Europe or so, they are not really that big on credits. I don't know if actually they even do credits. Please, if you know or have any idea, please let me down. Please let me know down in the comment section. But in America, it is very important that you have a good credit score. If you want to buy a car, you get into a dealership, and if your credit score is not the best, guys, you will not get that. I mean, even if you get the car, right, they are going to give you at a higher interest rate, because they are giving, it's a risk that they are giving you that car, because they are not sure on if actually you're going to pay them back, or you're going to be consistent with your car note payment. So it is very, very important that you have a good credit score. So guys, these are some of the things that you are supposed to do once you move into the States. Interact with people, because in America, information is key. Information is very, very important. You might sit in your house, you think that this is all about what's happening, or being a CNA is all that there is. No, there isn't. There are lots and lots of opportunities out there. If you don't communicate, if you don't interact, you will not know about these opportunities. For example, I got to learn about sterile processing because I was communicating with somebody that was in the field of passing meds to like myself, and they told me about it. So you have to learn to communicate to better yourself, because America is a land of opportunities. You have to make the best out of it. And to carry it out, that's why most of us moved here. So please, guys, just try as much as possible to do these things immediately you get into the States. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much, and see you all on my next one. Bye.